Hey everyone, Ashley here. So today I was going to talk with you guys about the season of Jesus's life where he had to wait, which actually happened a lot for him, but I was going to focus specifically on the time before he started his ministry. But I'm not going to do that because I'm a rebel. So instead, I'm going to talk to you guys about the concept of God as our refuge. And so picture with me for a second that you're in a storm, a really bad storm, maybe one of the hurricanes that you've heard about that's happened in places like Houston or something, or maybe there's a flood happening, which I guess is part of hurricanes and everything. So there's a really bad storm happening and you can only choose one place to be your refuge. So think about it. Even if it's just a thunderstorm or something, you could choose to hide under a tree, which I hear isn't a good idea, I think, in a thunderstorm, or you could choose to go inside your house, or you can choose to go underground. But if I choose to hide under the tree, I can't go underground. Those things, they can't be together. If I want to hide in the house, that means that I can't hide under the tree. I have to choose one refuge. And God is kind of like that. We can't decide, oh, actually, I'm going to choose to trust in my friends and I'm also going to be trusting in God. That's not how it works. We don't get to choose two refuges, refuge, plural. We don't get plural refuges. And Jesus kind of talks about this in a certain way in Matthew 7. This is during the Sermon on the Mount. So he's been teaching everyone about what it looks like to live as a part of the kingdom. And so in Matthew 7:24, he says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine," so that's the Sermon on the Mount, "and does them will be like the wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on the house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on a rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who has built his house on the sand. And the rains fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against the house and it fell. And great was the fall of it." Wow. Crazy. I've been thinking about this passage a lot lately because in this parable, the person doesn't build their house halfway on a rock and halfway on sand. They have to decide what their foundation is going to be. And that foundation determined the course of the rest of the life of the house and probably the foundation of this person's life. They probably didn't survive that flood. Maybe they did. But anyway, their house would be destroyed. So I've been thinking about my life and about trusting God, especially through this COVID-ness and all of the craziness. And when we say God is our refuge and I'm trusting in God, am I truly trusting in God, or am I trusting in my comfort or my plans going the way I want them to go, or in the people I love still being really close to me? As we always say, those things aren't necessarily bad things, but those things can't be our refuge. And I think for me a lot in this season, I've realized that I haven't really had God as my refuge in a lot of situations. I've said God is my refuge, but when the storms came, man, the fall was great. And so that obviously means that my house wasn't built on the rock of Jesus Christ and who he is. So the summer is coming to a close and school is about to start. We're not really going to know what that's going to look like for you guys. Maybe some of you have already started school. But I really want you guys to think about what you're building your life on, about if God is truly your refuge or not. And if he is, great, let's talk about it. And if he's not, great, let's talk about it. We want to hear where you are. Send us a text if you have one of our numbers, or talk to your parents or your leaders if you get to go to some of our outside hangouts that we're having this summer. We'd really love to hear how you're doing. This is really short, but yeah, I just want to challenge you guys with that. What are you building your house on? What is your life really built on? There's a storm coming, and that storm is called life. And maybe it's hit you a lot during this season of COVID. Maybe it's been hitting you a lot throughout your whole entire life. I want you guys to be prepared and not be blindsided. So that's it. Love you.